Is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance and Investments.
Unlucky. Tanner says you missed the next one as well. Best of three?
For England, they can't be beaten here.
We are in Birmingham at the Arena for our second game of the evening. It's England against South Africa. Well, the last time that these two teams met was in the series, the Test series in November, and England victorious 2-1 with Tamsin Greenway and Ebony Osoro-Brown. Ladies, we're one match down. Going into this second match, we're going to go straight to team news and show you the South African lineup as follows. And we have Lefebvre Rademan as goal attack. Tamsin, you're delighted.
I am delighted. I think they struggled on Sunday when they started with both, well, Pothita, who is their best goal shooter, in at goal attack, and of course Venter in at goal shooter. So to have Rademan out there, look, her movement is exceptional. It's whether she can go to post. Ebony and I were talking about it beforehand, but this series gives her an opportunity to really decide whether she can shoot against the top nations.
And look out for their centre as well, Drea. Moving on to the England lineup and straight to the defensive end. Ebony, goal defence, Fran Williams start. What do you make of that?
Yeah, great to see Fran back in the starting lineup. Obviously Jess Selby's gone with the starting seven that she's confident, it's tried and tested. They did exceptionally well in the South Africa series before Christmas last year. So yeah, strong starting seven, expecting a good start from England to get them on their way.
And a nod for George Fisher.
Yeah, brilliant. She had such an impact against the Kiwis on Sunday. She gives them a real option in that circle, really grew into the game. Just like we saw Maya Wilson thrive earlier for the Kiwis, we want George Fisher to do more of the same, please.
Okay, let's get the thoughts of the head coach, Jess Selby.
Jess, talk to us about some of those changes to your starting seven. George Fisher starting and Ellie Cardwell for the first time at goal attack.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to reward that partnership. This has never started a game before. I think George Fisher deserves a start, and I was really impressed with the style change that L&G offer as a partnership. So let's see what they can do against South Africa. We never played that in November, so hopefully it'll give them something to think about.
And the other major change in defence sees Fran Williams in at goal defence, and I guess hoping to see more of what we've seen glimpses of so far.
Yeah, the margins for selection in that defensive unit are very small. Very lucky to have different styles back there. Fran's proved that she can work well with Stacey, so we're going to give her that starting seven place and see if those guys can build on their connection over the last couple of months.
Go well today, good luck.
Thanks.
Ebony, some smart moves there from Jess.
I really do think they are. I think you saw the combination of Ellie Cardwell and George Fisher really grow on Sunday. They're playing with confidence. The mid-court are able to find them nice and cleanly. And again, the defensive end, to see Stacey Francis, who's had a stellar return back to the game, partner with Fran Williams, I'm expecting a good, strong start from all seven of them.
Yeah, and the reality is that they lost to the Kiwis by 16 goals, and they probably had the most experienced lineup out there to start. You're going to lose by that amount. Get some of your youngsters on, expose them, understand, but at the end of this week, who is going to be the group taking you forward? And that's what I've been quite vocal about. Amy Carter came on and made such an impact. Hopefully we'll see more of her. And it's who you play them with. You know, if you whack Amy Carter out there, put Jay Clark at wing defence, give her some experience and a real unit around her. So great that players like Fisher and Williams get the start tonight with those players around them so they can really thrive.
They've really got to be fearless tonight because although they won the first test, it was an extra time. They won the second test, but the third test they lost. So South Africa are going to come out all guns blazing today. So England really need to step on the trail right from the start.
Okay. Well, Tamsin, you after the last game caught up with the new England captain, Nat Haythornthwaite, who I know you know really well. And I even think in this piece there's a little bit of mum dancing. Let's check it out.
So I'm joined here with England Roses captain Nat Haythornthwaite. Nat, welcome. Firstly, talk to me a little bit about the captaincy. I know you, so I know sometimes you just kind of get on with everything. Was it a complete surprise, or did you have a little inkling?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, and then Jess asked me just before the South Africa tour, and I was like honoured, huge opportunity, and didn't expect it, but it's one I'm taking on board and learning as we go.
Okay, and now I know you're a big confidence player, so I actually think it was a complete stroke of genius from Jess Thirlby to make you captain. So, confidence it must have given you. Do you feel the pressure as well?
Well, you want to be the best captain you can be for the team, and I'm all about empowering people. I'm a very passionate player when I play for the Roses, so my confidence comes from empowering the players around me and wanting them to play well. I play better when my teammates are playing well, so hopefully I'm doing that out there and just hopefully being a good captain for them.
Yeah, now I know a big thing when we worked together was I was always encouraging to be more vocal and probably a little bit more cocky on court. So is that happening now? I know I saw you today lifting the crowd and getting involved. Are you confident doing that?
Yeah, I really think like I found my voice when we worked together at Wasps. You always tried to get that out of me, and I do really appreciate that. So just finding that inner voice inside, and I think that's where my confidence comes from as well. Like being the talker, getting my friends going, getting the teammates going, and getting the crowd involved. I think we all lift from that. So yeah, I'm finding my voice.
How do you pick up from a loss, and especially the nature of a loss of tonight?
Oh yeah, tonight's been tough, and it's not the result we wanted. I think for parts of the game we were with them, but yeah, we just didn't get over the line. And I think it's just important now that we've got a few days to regroup. When you do lose as a team, it's so important that you connect and get the team together as soon as you can. And obviously you need to reflect on the loss and address that, but I think it's just really important that we stick together as a team. One thing that we speak about with the Roses culture is having fun and making sure we've still got that leading into Wednesday's game, and just keeping the vibes going.
Okay, so the fun part, this is the bit, so we've got Wednesday night coming up, and you know you're around a touring. Is there a pre-match sort of routine? Do you have a song? Is there something that you're going to do for that group that's going to make a difference?
Hopefully. Tonight we had a little poem, so I started with a poem in the team's changing room, so you might be able to get a sneak peek of that at some point. But I think it's just like playing off each other and finding the fun, and we like to have a little bit of a boogie in the changing rooms before the teams.
Please tell me you've still got your mum dance.
My mum dance.
Come on.
I was telling people about that.
Show us your mum dance moves.
I'll show you mine if you show me.
Come on then, we got this. It's always a mum dance. Well, look, I know it was disappointing tonight, but still all to play for in the Nations Cup, and you're doing a great job as captain, so good luck for Wednesday.
Thanks, T.
Those two, they've got the move. You've got the moves, Tamsin. Nat Haythornthwaite, you've played with her for England for many years, Ebony. What does she bring to the court? What does she bring to the dressing room?
She brings a level of honesty, she brings great leadership, she brings clinicalness, and she's consistent, and that's what this team will need tonight. She's a wonderful person off the court, so I'm really wishing that her and the England team get across the line tonight.
And she's tough to play against.
She is. She's the most creative attacking player we've got. What I'm liking is Thirlby is starting to build that team around her. At the end of the World Cup in that bronze medal playoff, Tracy Neville trusted Nat Haythornthwaite. She hasn't started a week to get out there and start in that crucial game. She's building a team around her now, Thirlby is, and that's so important, not only for Nat's confidence, but also how that team is going to move forward.
So, under the guidance of Jess Thirlby, both of these sides playing this evening lost their first game, both looking for wins because they want to make that final on Sunday. We've got another match on Saturday at the Copper Box Arena. It's a pretty electric atmosphere here in Birmingham. We've already been in Nottingham. It's a netball takeover, but the England Roses, they certainly mean business and they want to win this one.
You're now rocking with the best.
England have done it! They have snatched the gold medal!
I will not lose, ever.
cycle. It's a new year, a chance to try out new partnerships, new combinations. And Tamsin, what's your prediction for this match?
I think it'll be tight, but I think England will take it. I think they've just got the edge. I think they've got more changes. It's how well they deal with that Radaman-Pohita combination, because we know how lethal Pohita is under the post. And if Radaman's allowed those free runs, then it will open up the circle. So Fran Williams has a work cut out, but no doubt she's England's smartest defender. I love working with Fran Williams. She's got a real bright future for that team. I think she will be on it today against Radaman. She had some exposure against her in November, so she'll know what the game plan is tonight.
This is what they're playing for, the Nations Cup. Jamaica, New Zealand, England, South Africa, who will take the spoils come Sunday evening. And the Army, Navy and Royal Air Force representatives are all here in Birmingham. And speaking about the opposition, South Africa, defensively, we've got Carla Pretorius, who's returned to the side. Yeah. Obviously, she wasn't part of the Test series in November. She's one of the best interceptors on the planet. She's going to cause England a bit of trouble.
Well, she is, but she was so quiet on Sunday against the Jamaicans. I think everyone was a bit shocked. And in reality, she had a bit of a break. She didn't play in that November series. I wouldn't expect her to back up with a quiet game tonight. And actually, that matchup against Ellie Cardwell will be interesting, because Ellie Cardwell's probably more comfortable in the goal shooter position. She will have to make sure she's her body well. She times her moves to make sure Carla isn't giving free rein. I don't think you'll see such a sort of average, dejected South African side as we saw on Sunday. They will be gutted about that performance, and they will bring all guns firing. And it starts with that Mweni-Pretorius combination.
Well, they're under the guidance now of their new head coach, Jarrett Badenhorst, who's taken over from Norma Plummer, who's really done amazing things with this South African side over the last 4 years. And we saw that in the World Cup. As the Roses come into the stadium, you can hear the electric atmosphere here, the noise levels. It's a sellout crowd here at Birmingham. It's a really great atmosphere. It's a really great message to everybody out there. The netball is growing and going from strength to strength.
I think off the back of the World Cup, we've had so much momentum moving forward. It was important that the fans still stay behind this new English Roses era. We've got a lot of key players, a lot of superstars that aren't in this group at the moment that will be returning. But you haven't noticed a difference in the fan base. Even after that loss against the Kiwis on Sunday, the fan base still got behind the team. There was still a lot of love for this group, so it's important that they keep that going and we move this game forward.
Please be upstanding to respect the national anthems of South Africa, followed by England.
some exciting combinations to look forward to in this game. Stacey Francis and Fran Williams, goalkeeper, goal defence, and up front, Ellie Cardwell and George Fisher. What will these combinations produce? Up against South Africa. Centre pass very soon. Let's get straight to commentary and join Caroline Barker.
Thank you, Di. Jess Thirlby says too many errors cost them against the world champions. No excuse for not knowing the threat they face tonight. Here are the changes then for England. George Fisher's in. Ellie Cardwell starts a goal attack for the first time for the Roses. Fran Williams at wing defence. As for South Africa, Drea, impressive when she came on against Jamaica. And young goal attack, Rademan starts after also impressing in that defeat. This is pretty much a winner takes all. No one wants to lose it, because you do, and you won't be in those finals come Sunday. Ebony Osoro-Brown alongside me. That's the real task facing both these sides tonight.
It really is. Both teams will be hurting from Sunday's performances, so they've got a point to prove, and it will all start in this first quarter. Both teams will want a good start.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
South Africa then with the first centre pass. Somi, ball in hand straight away. Good defensive pressure early on from England, looking to keep them back. There's the Rademan in at that goal attack position, offers them something different. We saw just her versatility in that last game.
Yeah, she was really a thorn in the side for England during the series they had just before Christmas. She came on, she created a lot of space. She worked really well to Hita, finding her underneath the post. So it'll be interesting to see how England respond, given that she's got the start.
Williams' first bit of action. We'll cuddle up before Hita settles and through.
Should appreciate that one, a nice settle under the post.
Haythornthwaite, the England captain, combining with George Fisher. Fisher showing such confidence, and Cardwell, again from that South Africa test, just been clinical.
Great start by the two young shooters. It's the first time they've actually started an international test series together, so looking for, again, another strong performance as we saw on Sunday, but Ellie will appreciate that settle as well.
We saw some watchful eyes from the sidelines. Norma Plummer, previous coach with South Africa, but she's been a mentor to Jess Thirlby of late.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of having a coffee with Norma earlier today, because she coached me at West Coast Fever, so I know she's really enjoying her time with the England Roses, but she did say she has split loyalties today.
Is she fearsome over a coffee as well?
She's fearsome over a coffee, but she's a bit soft in the middle as well, which is quite nice.
Such noise inside the arena here in Birmingham. It's home to the world champs back in 1995. And hopefully can be part of Birmingham 2022 for the Commonwealth Games.
Great strong take there by Ellie Cardwell.
So much been made about the players that aren't part of this England squad, yourself included. But Cardwell's really taken her opportunity. She
has, and I think it's obviously many of us are taking a bit of a break, a much needed break after some time, for me personally, like a 3-4 year cycle. So, but it's great to give these girls some of the opportunity. Harton and Halsby have ruled that shooting circle for a number of years now, so it's wonderful to see the likes of Ellie Cardwell and George Fisher stepping up to the plate, performing really well and getting that exposure. Look at the fight. That's what we like to see, Ellie Cardwell. You rip that ball.
And she's going to have it. There'll be body on body inside that circle. What it means to both these sides. South Africa, with their highest finish ever at a World Cup back in Liverpool. Real feeling that the position England hold is the position that they'll have.
Bad destruction, goal attack.
And you can see the great defensive pressure that England are putting on at the moment. South Africa are having to recycle the ball 2, 3, 4 times. They just passed the ball laterally 4 times before they're able to get into the attacking third. And that's down to the pressure England are putting on them. They're getting their hands over the ball, they're man-on-man marking. And if they can continue to do it for 60 minutes, it's really going to wear that South African side down.
Notes aplenty for Dorette Badenhorst early on in this one.
Contact centre! Contact centre, advantage offside. Instruction, goalkeeper. Just your arms, instruction.
What's great to see, though, Carla Pretorius, I think, as Tamsin mentioned earlier, she was very quiet on Sunday. I was quite surprised, actually. She's known to be one of the best goal defences in the world at the moment. But it looks like today she's found her feet, she's having an impact, and leading that charge.
I know they had a little delay in Dubai on their way over. We'll blame it on a bit of jet lag.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah. Oh, had in from George Fisher, but South Africa still have it. Strong land from Bongi Msomi.
Hello, Mr. Post.
Supposed to be your friend, right?
only defensively.
We saw Stacey Francis actually out in Cape Town using a bit of the post to her advantage.
That's called game smarts. That's what we like to see.
It certainly went a bit viral. I don't know if that's what she planned. I think you still see it on the Sky Netball YouTube channel. And also you can get in touch with us via @Sky Netball.
That's a great response by England and Ellie Cardwell there. Nice and patient build-up play. And it's one they needed, given that South Africa had gone on a 2-3 goal run. Scores level now, it's 5-5.
Van der Merwe, Dreyer with that centre bib on. Again, just having to think to the very limit of the 3 seconds, South Africa.
And that's what we like to see from Rademan. There was questions over her on Sunday as to whether she would actually get in the circle and turn to post and actually put the shot up. Good to see early confidence early on. So Fran Williams needs to make sure she keeps her on the wraps.
There's confidence in bucket loads in Ellie Cardwell.
Nice patient build-up by South Africa.
It needed to be, because England regrouped well after the early transition through. Ebony, what do you want to see from Fran Williams in that circle?
I think she's doing a really good job at the moment. At the moment, she's challenging ball when it's up in the air. She's getting her hands up over ball. And again, you can see the relationship she has with Stacey Francis. They're confident, they're moving their feet. They're making sure that every ball that comes into the attacking circle, the South African shooters are having to earn. And again, sometimes you don't win the game in the first quarter. You have to hustle and hustle and hustle, and it will slowly break them down.
George Fisher, another one off. We're back level. A reminder, and this is so far off. If we are all square at the end, we will go to extra time.
Wouldn't you love that, Caroline?
We had it in Cape Town, of course, that first test. South Africa actually didn't realise that it was to go to extra time, so there's some questions over whether that threw them off from the extra time period.
Well, I'm just happy it went in England's favour. Great athleticism there from George Fisher. On one foot, executes the pass brilliantly.
Just seeing then all-round defensive work from England. Cardwell, Fisher in that space. 1, 2, 3, look around. Oh, sweet.
This is what I love about Ellie Cardwell. If you looked at her about a year ago, she didn't look as confident. She's obviously done a lot of work on her physical fitness. At the moment, she's getting the ball inside the circle, she's turning to the post, and she's one of England's most accurate, highest percentage shooters. So again, she's growing every single game, and it gives us a second option to Helen Halsby, who we regularly see in that shooting circle. So she can continue to perform like this consistently. Again, it's another great attacking option for England moving forwards.
Wing defence contact.
Seen a little less pinging from the umpires. Cut things out early on. Big hand from the wing.
I love watching the winning. She's just... Her elevation,
contact, wing!
Yeah, her dynamism, it's fantastic.
The fact that she didn't start senior netball till she was 29.
There's no excuse for any one of us.
Don't look at me like that. Give me a step ladder and maybe an extra lung as well. Brilliant netball. Little gap for England, but this will swing back and forth again. Doing well in drawing South Africa out of that circle at the moment.
They are. And like I said, you can count the number of phases South Africa are having to play before they're getting the ball in the circle. Just shows the relentlessness of the defensive pressure that England are putting on them. I think Francis, Williams, Malcolm and Clark are doing a great job outside the circle, slowing it down.
But when they do get that ball in there, shooting 100% at the moment, South Africa.
Goal defence, instruction. Goal defence. Contact, goalkeeper.
Yes,
holding.
Stacey Francis.
You're holding her arm.
Ooh!
She thought she had that call.
I don't know whether I agree.
I don't think she did. The face told it all.
That's my defensive head coming through.
The voice of England defender Ebony Osoro-Brown. Living and breathing, I think, every one of those passes at the moment.
Contact.
She's all right. She'll bounce back out. She's a tough cookie.
Instruction.
So we've just seen that two-goal lead that England just had whittle away. So, all the replay. See, I told you she was clean. It'll be interesting to see how England respond here. Nice strong hold from George Fisher there.
Hand on the back of the head, and Fisher shakes that off.
What's great to see, though, is George Fisher and Natalie Haythornthwaite obviously played together at Wasps. So in terms of that relationship, and that she's comfortable releasing the ball to George in those spaces. So they can continue to build on that throughout this game. It'll definitely be a weapon that they've got in their toolbox.
There is a gorgeous tussle going on from Potgieter and Francis at the moment in that circle. Now better defensive work from South Africa.
Wing defence contacts.
What's great about this first quarter, unlike the Jamaica-New Zealand game, is that we're going goal for goal, and each of the players look comfortable doing that. And that's what's going to be great about the Nations Cup. It's exposing these players to these precious situations and these precious moments of how to ride the wave. And we've got 3 minutes 50 on the clock, and it's about who can sustain that in terms of that mental toughness, that mental resilience, to be okay with going goal for goal before that lead can finally break away.
Who's there for the rebound?
Yes, Mustard! Now that's the brilliance that we're used to seeing from Carla. Falling out of court, keeps it in, gets it to her teammate, and can they finish it off is the question.
Core ability to recycle that for South Africa. Now back on in that circle with Francis up against them all. There's surely just a moment of delay for South Africa before the inevitable.
Contact.
Oh, and they do it! That was incredible. Look at the agility. Look at the hands.
1, 2, 3, then the layoff. The perfect pass then
Outside.
into her teammate.
Hold time.
But then if you're a coach, you see this happen up the other end. So that one bit of glory one end. Now England have an opportunity from South Africa. Reminder, England were, probably don't want reminding of this, 11-15 down to New Zealand.
Offside wing attack.
Minutes left of this quarter.
Attack. You ran across the circle.
And you can see England putting on a full court defence here. This is something that especially last year, we did a lot of work on in terms of running with our players, pushing them as wide as we can on the court, and really having no fear, challenging the ball.
Centre. Contact, goal defence.
What I'd like to see is just a little bit more get off the body, just allow you to run your feet to try and win that
Instruction
interception.
goalkeeper, both players.
Healthy little lead developing then for South Africa. Just under 2 minutes of this first quarter to go. Clark with a feed into George Fisher, and there's the connection.
And there's that confidence we like to see. The ball that Matt Haythornthwaite released, nice and direct, gaining depth down the court, and a nice easy feed into George Fisher. We need to see more of that from England.
Bad obstruction centre.
Just unfortunately a bit too easy in the transition for South Africa up the other end. Smooth from them. Now the crowd inside Birmingham getting behind their roses.
Possession, goal attack!
That's one thing I love about playing in Birmingham or in the Midlands. You always have fans who celebrate each and every single goal. They're loud, they're proud, and you can, when you're on court, you can hear them, and it really lifts you in those moments. Yes, thank you, France. It's unlucky.
Oh, but all the work that she did just throws South Africa off balance.
And Fran Williams did an excellent job there. She really confused the space, so the fielders had no idea as to where to put the ball.
Williams and Clark then combining.
What I'd like to see a little bit more from wing defence and goal defence is the driving through the court is very laboured at the moment.
Oh, George Fisher manages to keep it on, but just into South Africa hands. Last 30 seconds of this first quarter. Rademan had a little look, fake, and the pass to Park Geeta. So special in that circle.
So what Rademan's doing at the moment, if you can track her, she's running the baseline. So just need to have a look, Fran and Stacey, they need to shut off the baseline, because as Tahita pulls top and draws top, Rademan runs the baseline and she's just popping open.
Well, it started with such flourish, England, but frustration towards the end, and it's South Africa that edge into quarter time with that 3-goal lead. England 13, South Africa 16. So changes made by Jess Thirlby's team, few tweaks all around. Whether we'll see more changes heading into this second quarter. Of course, she'd hoped to be up and with it with South Africa, but just a couple of moments that they've lost the ball. South Africa have punished, and they go in with the lead. Second quarter to come.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Well, changes aplenty then for England. Amy Carter, who made her Rose's debut last time out in this competition, is on again at centre. But Emily Osoro-Brown looking at the shooting accuracy, and that's been the difference. South Africa, 100%. But both teams had the same shots, and that's the difference at quarter time.
It is. I think both of the South African shooters shooting at 100%. George Fisher on 71 and Ellie Cardwell at the moment on 88.
So Jess Thirlby thinking the changes needed to come at centre with Amy Carter, and Kate Shimmin is on for just her third cap for England on that defensive end.
An interesting change there. I thought Stacey and Fran were growing into that partnership. I did mention that Rademan was running the baseline a little bit, so maybe they brought on Kate Shimmin, who she did mention on Sunday she's been in good form, so let's see how this partnership develops.
Shimmin then with ball in hand. Captain Nat Haythornthwaite has a look over. There's the reach of George Fisher. Quick, confident hands from Amy Carter. But no. The bemused expression on Ellie Cardwell.
Yes, Kate Shimmin comes through nice and clean. That's exactly why she's been brought on. Great interception there, especially when England needed it.
Confirmation of those changes then on the bottom of your screen. Cardwell coming out for it. Carter again.
Amy Carter is definitely one of England's exciting new talents. She's fearless, she's young, she's fresh, and she's not afraid to get in there and give it a go. So when you've got the likes of Jay Clark to fill, you've got big shoes to fill, but I thought when she came on Sunday, had a great impact, and looking forward to seeing how she develops further.
Only picked up a caution. All of that. South Africa so impressive in that first quarter. Give them the ball in that circle. Lovely little pass in to Potgieter. Oh, jinxed them.
That's the playing too smart, South Africa. But finished off very nicely.
She just missed one so that Radman could have a go from distance.
I know, I think as a defender you actually hate those shooters to shoot a ball.
Shimmin.
Sense a little hesitation from England. What really worked well for them in the first quarter is when they let the ball go. Need to continue practicing that.
Is that as much about the work now that South Africa are doing and giving them problems across that court?
They can do, but the space is there. I just think as they've got this new combination that's trying to settle, I guess the hesitation is creeping in a little bit, but as the quarter grows, I'm expecting them to release the ball, give and go again.
Footwork.
What do you think? Better South Africa team compared to Sunday, in your opinion?
I think they were a bit shell-shocked from Sunday. Had a little chance to speak to Shamira Sterling just before this game. You had to see that interview ahead of the England-Jamaica game. And she said, we came out with a different attitude against South Africa. Our attitude was, we are better than them and we will beat them. And she wondered whether that was missing a bit today in their performance against New Zealand.
Well, I was really quite disappointed with Jacob. I had them beat New Zealand by 4, so I just felt a bit underwhelmed, I think, in terms of just probably hadn't done enough homework on New Zealand, but it'll be good to see what happens on Saturday.
For New Zealand over Jamaica earlier. It means when England play Jamaica, should they beat South Africa today? Caution picked up against Shalene van der Merwe then. And that would set up a winner-takes-all.
Footwork, no goal.
Oh, controversial. Goal had gone up, footwork call. Straight onto the bench, England need to be.
All going the way of South Africa at the moment. Just got a little bit of that momentum back. Rademan. Oh, there's the agility. I'd say it falls kindly for her, but even from that distance, that's not an easy shot.
No,
second time round.
I guess, like I said, she's growing in confidence. On Sunday, we wouldn't have seen her put that shot up, but I think given how she's playing today, she's obviously used the training session really well. She's getting the ball, she's turning to post. And as a defender, that's really, really tough. If you've got two confident shooters who are able just to turn, look at post and are confident to put it up, you really have to make a decision as to which intercept you're going to go on. What we need to see more from England is at the moment they've only got one mover to the ball, so we need to see at least two options to the ball. When the ball carrier's got the ball in their hand, they want to be confident that they can exercise as to what's the best option rather than the only option. At the moment we're getting a little bit static, so we need to create some repercussive movement.
So England needing to shake things up. 5 minutes into this quarter, those combinations a little chance to settle by now.
Just got to watch those contact calls at the moment, starting to creep up.
England! That is obstruction, wing attack!
Carter and Clark combining to Haythornthwaite. George Fisher's come out of that circle, little bounce in.
What a pickup, Shadeen van der Werve.
I mean, that was behind her. That action was happening behind her as she was moving through to see it, to take it, and to pass.
And Shadeen van der Werve has been playing in the Suncourt Super Netball with the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and I think when she was playing in the Super League at Surrey Storm, great touch, Shimon.
She's pumped up.
She is indeed. Sitting on the bench in the first quarter will do that to you.
Van der Merwe was player of the tournament, back out in South Africa.
Yeah, and she's really come on, I was saying. Great take home with Carter, and that's exactly why she is one to watch for the future.
Throw in England's sideline.
A great attacking centre, but her defensive capabilities.
Oh! One take goal defence.
And they think netball's a non-contact sport.
Just letting her know she's there. It's like Carla Pretorius has never been away. Had a bit of time out. Back on court here now for South Africa, and one of those real quality players for them.
Look at that. Gosh, Nat's a tough cookie, isn't she?
No quarter given.
Love it.
Well, some of those decisions, some of those chances that were going the way of South Africa. Now England getting a bit more swing of it. There's Shimon. Nice direct ball with Haythornthwaite. Cardwell again.
Oh. And this is what England were guilty of on Sunday. We make in the interceptions, but in terms of transitioning and actually capitalising on the turnover, we were unable to do on Sunday. So if we want to win this game against South Africa, we've got to be more clinical in terms of with our possession on given and turned.
South Africa haven't won back-to-back tests against England since 1997. Of course, they won that final test in Cape Town. But England taking the series 2-1.
England!
Radaman sitting on 92% in terms of shooting accuracy at the moment. Pahita sitting on 90%. So both have definitely shown their confidence turning and going to post. We need to work out as to how we're going to disrupt them in that circle.
We talk about confident. 1, 2, 3 on the edge from England. There's Core, your yoga teacher would be proud of, just managing to keep that on.
And that's what's called being a rose. We talk about our values in terms of backing each other up, going the extra mile, putting your body on the line. It's just great to see that in abundance in that set of play.
Big centre pass for South Africa.
Obstruction, wing, arms out.
You can see England trying to force some of those errors into South Africa's game, but they have it. The bounce from Van der Merwe to Msomi.
Oh! That was sweet. Down the middle, straight to post. Sometimes you just have to clap, because that was very, very special. Great vision.
Not
well
even a raise of the eyebrow from the coach, though.
Obstruction, wing defence.
I'd be sitting there, put the pen down, start clapping.
Goal defence. Contact.
Just a little bit scrappy for South Africa in the circle. A lot of that down to the hard work of England.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think at the moment South Africa definitely look the hungrier team at the moment, especially in this phase as momentum is swinging. So it'll be good to see England, how they group together, how they start to rally each other up, connect, and get themselves back in this game. Taken Clark. And again, taken that. You can see that building there, the pressure England are putting themselves under in terms of trying to get the ball down court and then the placement of the ball. So I was talking earlier, we need more than one option to the ball rather than just a single option, just to allow the person who's got the ball in hand to make the best decision rather than the only option.
So tricky to find a way through then. Good strength from George Fisher.
And we needed that one. So again, 2 goals down.
Centre pass for England as well.
Right back in contention. Great work, George Fisher and Ellie Cardwell. And that was really built from Nat Haythornthwaite in terms of keeping wide, not getting too anxious, not coming into the middle. Really good work. Right back in it, England.
England starting to unlock South Africa. Shimming with it. This is the chance to go level.
And this is the fight that we talk about. This is when they look hungry, they're ready for it. They've upped to gear. Exactly what they needed, right on schedule.
Can South Africa defend? You got fight and hunger, as you say. South Africa showing it in bucket loads.
Now that is quality. That's so hard to read, so hard to do. Her elevation was fantastic there. Turnover, giving her team another opportunity.
Fingernail up one end. The difference to push that move through for South Africa. And surely one little sniff from England and shut that door. Just again, world-class effort.
Breaking goal defence. Footwork.
Oh, a little bit of a coach killer there.
A couple of times now that's happened for England.
I think it's also just making sure you understand who's umpiring the game. You know, especially the New Zealand and Kiwi umpires are very much sticklers for contact, footwork, and the basic skills. So that's why when you're playing in their half, you've got to make sure you do the basics well, so there's no indecision for them to make that call.
John O'Brien with that call.
Contact, goal defence.
Umpire on this near side.
Goalkeeper contact. Bonus goal, South Africa.
As a defender, when you've helped get your side right back into it, how frustrating is it then to see maybe a couple of things not going away up the other end of the court, and how do you shake that off?
It's incredibly frustrating sometimes if it's gone 2 or 3 phases and you've turned over the ball and unfortunately you're unable to convert. However, we're always told your job's not done until the 60-minute whistle, so you work and you work and you work again, and it's great to see that mindset is what these girls are, why they're playing these games. They need that exposure, they need to develop that mindset that you have to go and go again, and you need to make your contribution to the team regardless of whether it goes in or not.
And that goes for South Africa too at the moment. Just when it looked like England perhaps sneaking their way back in.
I think at the moment, Carla Pretorius and Mweni are really closing that circle down. You can see Fisher and Cardwell starting to churn in the circle. What's been one of their strengths is they've had a holder and they've had one mover. So they need to go back to that rather than getting churning, making the mid-court have to go back to the line, reset it a couple of times. Gives South Africa more of a chance to intercept the ball.
How difficult is it to make that adjustment on court when everything's flying at you, to take that breather and resettle yourselves?
But that's what we call the game smarts. You need to be able to read the situation in that moment and know that's what's happening. Talk to each other, remind each other of their strengths, and then play to them.
There's one of those examples from England.
1 minute 20 left.
Little yelp from Fisher. She felt some contact on the way through. She's gone for a run round the back, trying to confuse that space again. Create options in the circle for England.
Nice little move there from George Fisher. This would be a great steady for England if it drops. Nice work.
the last minute of the quarter. And that work at one end draws England back to within 2 and their centre pass. Can they get level before half-time?
And to be fair, I think the change initially, we thought about Williams coming off and Kate Shimon come on. Kate Shimon's come on and she's got a hand to quite a lot of ball. It's been really, really, really impressive. She's applied that pressure to Radaman. She's combining well with Stacey Francis. It'll be interesting to see if we can maintain this for the full 60 minutes.
Trying to keep South Africa up court. That's where South Africa have found time and time again that way through. Pretorius with ball in hand.
England will want to deny this goal.
It's a big 18 seconds you've got to see out.
I know, you've got to work and work and work.
Psychologically, what can they take into half-time? They can take the ball. Now can they transition quickly? Last 5 seconds, Fisher's in there, but the wall in front of her goes back to Carter, into Fisher, but the whistle, the buzzer, the time has beaten them. Much better from England on the way into half-time then. They narrowed that gap on South Africa down to just the 1 goal, but couldn't peg them back level. 25-26. Let's get some reaction from on-court with Gail.
Thanks very much, Caroline. Well, Nat, you knew it was been a bit close, didn't you? You must have been pretty pleased with the way that you worked out the problems that South Africa were posing towards you.
Yeah, what a game of netball this is. So exciting. It's what we want to play in goal-to-goal games, so we're going to look to push on in the second half.
When it is so tight and so close and you know it's going to be goal for goal, mentally, that can make all the difference. So what do you say to your side at half-time?
Just making sure we stay connected. Everything we do, we need to make sure we're connected. All the 7 through the court, with the bench, with the coaches, everything. It's all of us together.
Well played in the first half. What a thriller we hope we have as good a netball in the second half. Bonnie, there was so much hunger, there was so much determination. It's a real step up from your side, wasn't it, from what we saw at the weekend?
Yeah, I think we were very disappointed with our performance against Jamaica. There were some great passages of play, but it was just towards the end of the game and the time was against us. So I think it was very important for us now to start really hard, and I think we did well, although we slackened a little bit now, but we have to come back.
We know how tight games between England and South Africa can be. The first one, of course, went to extra time. Have you got the staying power as a group? Did you learn from that? Can you go the distance if you need to?
Oh, I think everyone here knows that we've got such depth in our team. The girls are really hungry to play. So I think should anything happen, anyone can step on court and play, which is really on our side and it's really good. So I think we're looking forward to the second half.
Great first half, Bonnie. We'll see you in the second half.
Yeah, that test series in Cape Town. England running out 2-1 winners in the end, but they were taken all the way by South Africa. And at the break at half-time, it's a 1-goal lead in it. And it is for South Africa. Analysis to come.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Nervous because I want to win.
Watch this intercept here from Stacey Francis in the dying seconds of the second quarter. An example of the great England defence. It wasn't enough, they couldn't get it down at the other end to get a goal, but the scoreline after 30 minutes, 25-26, South Africa leading by just one goal. Stats for the game, Tamsin Ebony with me. 92% shot percentage for South Africa, Tamsin. Pretty good.
Both shootings were great. I think we spoke about Radaman's shooting percentage at the start of the game, and yet she was on 92% by herself at one point. Like, she's been absolutely awesome.
Emily, what stood out to you so far about this game?
To score as many goals as you can and eliminate your opponent's bins in 2 minutes. Whoever scores the most goals.
I'm just going to hand you this mic because I don't think that one's working. There you go.
No, I think it's been really, really good to see a nice composed South Africa. We talked about Radaman at the start of the game. She's got into the circle, she looks confident, she's turned to post, and she's been a little bit of a headache for England in that shooting circle. But saying again, I thought Ellie and George down the other end have held their own. They needed a little bit of time to adapt to the change in the second quarter, but if they can continue that pressure, keep that communication, we're in for a good second half.
I think it's actually been the story of the goal attack. You mentioned Radaman. I want to actually focus on England, the Fisher and Cardwell combination. When it works, when it doesn't. And I've got a couple of clips to show you. So first one coming up, just notice what Ellie Cardwell does here against Pretorius. To clear that through, she actually comes out, doesn't get the centre pass, but creates loads of space. George Fisher comes out the circle. This is when they're at their strengths here. As I play this through, watch Ellie Cardwell go in, post up. George Fisher's left loads of space for Jay Clark. We've got the post up, and that's when Pretorius is not as good. She's better coming through for the ball, and this ball goes straight overhead. Perfect when it works. When it doesn't, this is a problem. Look at the difference already. Nat Haythornthwaite and Ellie Cardwell have decided this ball is going backwards. They don't come over the line, and look at the difference that makes to the defence. So when I stop it just here, Ellie Cardwell is already fighting with Pretorius. She can't get it. Fisher hasn't got a clear space to come out to. So as we play this through a bit further, Fisher now comes, and look at the difference in the unit here. Ellie's not posting up. This is not her strength. To try and outrun Pretorius is not going to happen. And this is where George Fisher ends up with nothing to throw to, and her inexperience just gives it to Van der Merwe. Pretorius has come into her own. We said she wasn't going to have a quiet game. She's not having a quiet game. She's getting so many opportunities, and this is the danger with England. Ellie Cardwell, I thought, has been great, but naturally she's a better shooter, and I think she's starting to get found out a little bit by Pretorius' athleticism, her speed, and just her aggressiveness. It's constantly on.
Yeah, you said that
having to work hard.
Do you feel though that Ellie got better in the second quarter there? She learned to adapt.
She started well. She's having moments, and it's not her fault. The other players have to do more around it. Now, tactically, when they get it right, it works, but you have to be on your game all the time. You can't rest for a minute because
she grinds players down, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's really woken up today. I was surprised that Carla's back, and again, usually if you can keep her quiet, she gets really, really frustrated. So as Tamsin said, the more work that people can do around her and keeping her away from the ball and that glory hunting, the more success they will have.
Okay, it's a strain to hear you girls. Just about got it. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. There's only one goal in it, 25-26. Can England win this second game of the Nations Cup? We'll see you after this short break.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Extra time, so close you can smell it. Just the one goal in it then at the half-time mark between England and South Africa. And it's South Africa in front. And the belief there that they can take this all the way and knock England effectively out of the Nations Cup. The inaugural Nations Cup here in Birmingham tonight before rolling onto finals weekend at the Copper's Box in London. Tamsin Greenway up in commentary and a change for England. Two changes. Chelsea Pittman on at wing attack and Laura Malcolm at wing defence.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised by Haythornthwaite going into goal attack. I think England, we just looked at it in analysis, they were getting very static on there. Pretorius had got the better of Cardwell to back into a more familiar position, a goal shooter. And hopefully Haythornthwaite can open up that space.
Amy Carter with just her second cap for England.
Offside, wing attack,
centre bib
third.
on. Having a look around that South African team.
Yeah.
Looks as was. Drea with the centre bib, she was the change from their last game, that defeat. And there's Stacey Francis showing her real quality.
Yeah, she's been brilliant, hasn't she? Stepped up again, that experience in the circle, just arms in everywhere. She's so quick to come through onto ball. Pot Heater got stuck there with her feet to the ground, and that was it.
As someone that's fed at the top table,
here we go. Look
that
at
little just action then from Stacey Francis, and then seeing that work from Amy Carter around the circle.
Yeah, and I've been really impressed with Carter again. She's got stuck in defensively. In attack, happy to feed. She had the opportunity with Jay Clark in that second quarter, and now Laura Malcolm, both two key experienced players sitting in behind her. You saw Jay Clark giving lots of instruction before she started that second quarter.
Advantage contact, wing attack.
Well, someone had their half-time cup of tea. England in front then, having been behind in those first two quarters.
Goal defence. Take a step back.
Yeah, they've come up firing, haven't they?
Contact goalkeeper.
They're definitely not going to go down without a fighting.
Body work.
And interesting, South Africa, you know, they do this to teams. They run with them, they take the lead. We've seen it a lot with their recent games against England, but they just don't seem to be able to push on. And that's the next stage of their international, well, if they want to get into that top three, you know, they've got to learn to do that against the top teams.
You've coached Birmingham Somi, you brought her over to the Super League, having spotted her at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and she's spoken about that, hasn't she, about needing to play that full 60, and that's how they step up another level.
Yeah, it is, and I think they've got to start looking at how it breaks down and individually the errors they make.
Oh!
And that's from your captain there. That's just unforgivable.
Cardwell turns to shoot. It's all dropping in now.
It is, and there's Nat Haythornthwaite raising the crowd, and the difference from that England side, you know, under pressure, England have learned to not just fall off the bandwagon. It's why it was so unusual to see them fall apart against New Zealand on Sunday, because over the past few years, they've really learned to push on against sides, to not fall out of games, to make sure they're going goal for goal. They hung on in this one, and look, they've gone on and taken the lead, and that's just from understanding when to push on, when to keep the ball, and the magic from someone like Francis in the back.
Full goal run from England now on South Africa.
Contact, wing attack.
Just off court, we're seeing some movement on the South Africa bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm guessing they're going to look at a change. Birmingham Somi has started to look lateral. She's started to look back. She's not happy going forward there.
Advantage offside, centre. Advantage distraction, centre.
She thinks to be fair, the England defence have been spot on throughout. Look at that from Shimin. And lucky that Drea was the one that picked it up on the edge. But great smackdown.
It looks like Vimbella's wing defence bib on. That one of the areas you would change?
I think address the first problem. The defence are now struggling because their attack are losing you lots of ball, and they're losing it in really poor positions. So you're not giving chances to set up. It's often a knee-jerk reaction to go, oh God, the defence are leaking loads of goals now. But why? Like, why are they getting so much ball? I'd actually start to fix up the attack end. I'd probably look at Griselle on to goal to wing attack.
Contact, wing attack, seen a third.
Griselle has been warming up too. Ziggy Berger's in there, but Not sure we'll see her.
Offside,
Probably think about as well getting
Offside.
Pohita into this game more, maybe bringing her out of the circle just to offload, just to take the pressure off. It's important shooters recognise that when Somi and Drea are getting so stuck up on that third line, that she is the release for them.
Carter with a centre pass. Squeeze put on England then. But Haythornthwaite, the captain, and Pittman involved. And Shimmin.
See the difference there, Carball just coming out the circle, coming out the middle, just giving her attack end extra time.
Hands obstruction, wing! Contact centre!
And that is what England have learned to do. Keep the ball, move it around, still attack the game,
Yes,
but take the bankers. At this point here, you want to keep pushing the scoreboard, you want to keep tipping it over, you don't want to give them anything.
Goes back to Van der Merwe. He'll bounce onto Msomi. Does well to find Drea.
Well, much better from Msomi. She opened up that space by getting Drea into that corner, into that pocket. But then Drea couldn't nail that feed into Pohita.
Oh, Katie Shimmin.
Hands obstruction centre! That is offside, goal touch! Goal defence contact!
Great catch in by Shimmin there, but Francis has got to do better. She shouldn't be putting her team under that pressure when they've just turned over the ball.
It's a bit of calmness inside that circle that the captain, Nat Haythornthwaite, gives you as well. You like seeing her out of that wing attack position.
I think her movement you can't doubt, and her feeding you can't doubt. It all comes down to the shooting. And for Haythornthwaite, when you're that small in the circle, there's a lot of pressure on you. It's difficult. Every shot is contested. And so, rightly so, some games she has an absolute shooting masterclass, and sometimes she's just there to offload. But it's when and where you do both. And she's feeling confident now. She's gone into that circle as a real goal attack, and that matters.
Gap back out to 6, and the Rose is fighting for every one of these balls now. How does South Africa respond?
Oh. That was desperation from Msomi there.
Contact, goal defence.
Pohita came so tight into Rademan. We've seen the base open up for the South Africans. They're not doing that at the moment. That's the work rate of what Malcolm and Carter doing out the front, keeping that centre court up. And it's also for Shimmin and Stacey Francis, that tight man-on-man in the circle now.
We'll shake that one off, Amy Carter.
But you expect that from a youngster, and you don't mind because your defence is turning you over ball. She's got to learn out there. That is going to happen. But then what you can't have is Nat Haythornthwaite, Chelsea Pittman, Ellie Carboy, your experienced players doing the same.
So South Africa being made to work for every ball at the to be smoother on their transition. If they can find their way through England. There's Pittman straight in amongst it with Msomi.
Well, every ball in that end third is contested at the moment, going over to that line. They haven't been able to get a second phase forward, and when they have, it's been under all kinds of pressure.
Gray backing up from those England defenders, and Carter does well just to get another tip to that. England managed to hang on to it.
Goal attack, contact!
Yeah, great pick up there from Carter. She had Pretorius running at her, who wasn't going to back out either. Some players are just naturally win you things, and naturally game players just see things before they're even going to happen. I think Carter has definitely got that in her locker.
Whole time, goal attack.
So we wondered if a change would happen for South Africa. It's Rademan who's heading off. We said, would we see Ziggy Berger? We will. Berger coming on in that goal shooter position, and Ziggy Berger has been working of late with her new coach, Sam Bird, here in the Super League, and she says that her shooting is improved immeasurably. Joanne coming on too, so 2 Super League players on court for South Africa. Oh!
Nice.
Speed, adrenaline speed.
Yeah, they drew them so wide then, Mweni was never going to get out onto that. Left the post wide open.
Goal defence. Contact centre.
I understand keepers going for the flies and wanting to get involved in the game, but you know that to me just opened up England so much, made England feel good, lifted the crowd. Sometimes you've just got to shut down and actually stick to your job.
Penalty was. Goalkeeper, you're out of play too. No, both out.
Pogita actually gave that, I think, to Berger as an opportunity just for her to settle any nerves she might have.
Contact on the arm, goalkeeper. On the arm.
So what we know is any changes that you make will take and can take a few minutes to settle too. But you always talk about the importance of this third quarter and how it can win you the game.
Yeah, I think South Africa, the momentum had shifted in that second quarter. So as a coach, you go in at half-time, you've got two choices. You've either got the information for the players that are going back out there, and you've got to see some changes and you've got to adapt, or you make the actual physical change and you bring new players onto the court.
Well, let's get some more perspective on this one. England up against South Africa with some notable faces in the crowd, Gail.
Yes, you'll never guess who I've just bumped into, Tracy Neville. Before we talk about the game, I want to talk about the atmosphere and the fact the stadium is packed and all 4 days of competition are sold out. As you sit here now, that must make you feel awfully proud, because that's what the World Cup did, isn't it? That's the legacy you've helped leave behind.
Yeah, I think it was a legacy of the organisation, and I think they said at the time that, you know, I think we inspired something like 5 million people to play netball or to be part of netball, and that legacy now is continuing on and escalating. And you know, when you see stadiums full out, and where we've come in the last 5 years, it can only get better, and it is such a proud moment for these girls to play in front of such an amazing supporters.
You could never have imagined this, could you, just a few years ago?
No, we say we wanted to change the internal environment, but it was important to change the external environment as well. And I think the partnership with Vitality, Jaffa and Nike, I think has really escalated that and got more interest in the sport, because they work a lot with participation with communities, and that is absolutely amazing to see. And hopefully in another 5 years we'll see this sport grow and grow and grow till we can match all the other male sports that are out there.
Do you still find it hard to watch on? I mean, what sort of things were you saying in the first half there, Tracy? I think you'd be happier with the second half.
Do you know, it's funny, this is my first live game since I obviously started, since I finished the role, and it is difficult. We've just got to finish the last 3 minutes of every quarter off. I think that's where we're struggling, but we're getting our momentum now, and you know, the changes have really made impact onto the team, so it's a real positive step for England netball. And do you know what's really pleasing? Some of these roses have been in the programme for 4 years, and now they're getting the opportunity, and to see them excel and the succession that Jess has there is an absolute honour for her, and she must be really proud as a coach.
You expect them to win it from here and by hopefully some margin?
Yeah, definitely. I think it will be a tough one. I think South Africa are always a team that come back, but I always expect the Roses to win.
And you can't have anything too close and too tight and too exciting, can you? Because that baby of yours needs to stay in for a few more weeks.
Well, I think Michael has been threatening me, because I'm also at the Copper Box at weekend. He said, if you have this baby without me, that'll be the last thing that you'll ever do. So I think at the moment, I think this baby has to stay in.
Not too much excitement, Caroline. You know, the England Roses have been warned.
You and me both. Step in from Cardwell. And that key 3 minutes of every quarter that Tracy Neville was talking about at the moment, England riding it out. 6 goals, the difference. It's Grizel, one of those changes for Dorette Badenhorst, the centre bib on, into Ziggy Berger, showing her
contact, goalkeeper,
range and height.
Contact. Just move over, thanks.
Reshuffle the cue. Changes working for you, Tamsin?
Yes, they needed to change something. I guess it's the lack of excitement for me down the attack end at the moment.
Oh, there's exciting. You don't want too exciting.
No, rein that in. However, it's just very pinpoint. It's all cut back. It's, you know, they're adamant on keeping the shooter in the circle. Absolutely fine. But what work have you done with the players outside to make sure that that can happen? And you've got to have some either creativity with the ball, You've got to be able to play ball over the top of people. England are doing such a good job. Laura Malcolm and Amy Carter and Shimon keeping them up the court. Look, everything in this area is clogged and being challenged. So how do you break it? Well, you break it with your body, you break it with your timing, you break it with the ball. And I'm just not seeing that. Look, go square again. Square again. You know, that's boring, and there's the intercept.
Malcolm and Francis doing well. There's Malcolm again. Started off that move, felt the full effects of Grisel on the way through. Last minute of this quarter then. Looks like England have taken the quarter at least. I imagine that Jess Thirlby will stick with this through the final quarter.
Yeah, and so she should. You know, she might bring one of the youngsters on perhaps halfway through this last quarter, but you know, you still got a 5 to 6 goal lead going into this last. You want to just cement that, make sure you win. It's important they win this game tonight if they want to make the final against New Zealand.
We look in from that Haythornthwaite. One hand, two hand through.
There she is. But you saw the pressure. Pretorius and Moenia dropped right back on Ellie Cardwell because she's a real threat under the post. Gave Haythornthwaite the free shot. She's confident like that. She's unstoppable.
Van der Merwe. Jamie, I'm looking forward to seeing her in the Super League next season. Starts the end of February on Sky.
That was very close to a held ball. South Africa really got to use the width down here. They're trying to get to the top of the circle. It's just not open. Play it wide, spread England and see what happens.
Go to Fiends.
They're going to get the penalty pass or a shot, and that was lucky because it was a loose ball by Charlene.
Well, the crowd will erupt. Ziggy Berger will try and shut all of that out. She'll have the chance at nibbling just one more off for South Africa. And that at least is a highlight, a positive for South Africa. They find themselves behind at the end of that third quarter. Can England see out the final 15 and take themselves to that decider against Jamaica come finals weekend? The end of the third quarter, 42-37 the lead.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind.
pass to Amy Carter and Chelsea Pittman. A couple of the changes we've seen in this game for England. Tamsin Greenway, Super League winning coach, alongside me. Really settled well those positions, those changes for England, been the difference.
Yeah, and a nice confident start from England.
Now it looks like Dorette Badenhorst was giving that attacking end a bit of a rest in that last quarter.
She brought Rademan back onto goal attack. I think she probably thought it was as exciting as I thought it was in that third quarter. She needed to do something. Giving sometimes just a youngster a rest, having them sit by you, giving them some information, letting them go back out there and explore it again, really important.
Pittman with a pick-up.
Oh, and an attacking contact from Pittman. You see from her head shake and her body language. She wasn't impressed with that. I mean, sometimes you just have to use your body to get across the defender. I don't think there's anything in that, to be honest.
Not a lot more she could do to separate the two dresses.
Oh, unlucky from Laura Malcolm. She thought she got away with that, just a little offside. But you can see the height she gives away on Charwain. She was able to get around that body.
Offside.
She did it cleanly. There you go, big shot from Rademan.
South Africa!
And I've been really impressed with that. We questioned that at the start of the game. Can she do that? Can she shoot throughout it?
This is South Africa starting very much as England started that third quarter.
Contact centre!
And look at the difference with Hita driving out the top of the circle, opening up and playing Charwain into the corner, into the pocket. It then opened up the contact, and they've got to do more of that.
Joni lifting her arms, trying to get the rest of her team up on their toes. Dreyer involved, Pretorius involved, the bench up on their feet.
She always gets that one, doesn't she? She is a true winner for that side. The best goal defence in the world right now, and that's why. Very quiet at the weekend, not quiet tonight.
And they only need a couple more of those to be back level with England.
Yeah, and you just think of the errors there, you know, one on force and attacking contact against Chelsea Pittman, which was nothing really in it. And then the intercept from Pretorius, and look, it's game on.
Oh, it's a lovely little reverse pass in there too.
You see the confidence from South Africa to let that ball go, that second phase ball go straight down into the corner. They weren't doing that enough in the second and third.
Little bit of tension in the crowd too.
Yeah, nice feed from Amy Carter. She saw the switch from Mweni and Pretorius. She didn't get sucked into it. She still placed it enough for Cardwell to go onto the ball.
Second cap. Just getting a bit more joy now, South Africa through on that transition.
Contact go to Fiend to third.
Yeah, great take from Haythornthwaite. She's under all kinds of pressure from Pretorius, but took it well. That split from Cardwell.
Goalkeeper.
That was a good settler for England. Sometimes you just need an easy one through when you feel under pressure.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
Obstruction wing!
Tactically, you can see what South Africa are doing now as well. So on that centre pass, they're just leaving Charwain up on the line. They're dropping Rademan right back. It's giving them so much more space, and it looks open. You've got a lot more time. Defensively, as units, you want to work together. The more you get spread, the harder it is to do that.
I certainly believe that they can pull England back.
Advantage break wing attack!
And England there did exactly the same. Haythornthwaite right off the line. Good pick up from Cardwell. Just give Pittman the opportunity to give and go. Have a bit more control on the ball. You want to see this from players. You know, they should be mixing up. You can take so much from your coach, but when you're out there, you've got to adapt, you've got to adjust.
England have options on the bench. Whether it's on court, they've got to try and find that solution at the moment. Would you change?
No, not at the moment. They're in control still. They're getting ball like that. I like how they've mixed it up on the centre pass now. They're not fighting their way through. I think what was important is when they gave those 2 goals away, they then settled. They got the next. They got the next one in. They were quite confident on that. And that's the difference to South Africa tonight. We saw them at one point go 4 goals without response. That's why they're in this chase mode.
Such a tough job. And you've got to try and pull back the opposition, chasing them down, trying to force them into an error, but
causing contact centre.
Good strength there by Pittman. It's important you take on those runs.
Rowan, where you are.
Just a bit too much on it from Carter. It was in the right space. It was just touch on it to make sure Carbo could land it.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
last quarter with the gap that was in there, could afford just to give up a couple of those. But now South Africa pulling themselves back. Van der Merwe, Victorious, who's helped, been instrumental gain in this fight back.
And that ball from Dreyer was so important. Oh, and just as I was saying that, just as they weren't scared to let ball go, and attacking contact down the other end.
Oh, and then that. And then that.
Just that composure at crucial times.
Easier said than done, but it's those particular moments that separate the top teams.
Yes, Stacey Francis redeemed herself with that.
Well, that was all about Rademan, who'd had the confidence previously to put those sorts of shots up.
Exactly that, but this is what pressure does to you. 3 goals in it, last quarter.
No one wants to hang on to the ball. Rademan back looking to make amends.
And this has become the usual, hasn't it? What we used to between England and South Africa. This is why we had extra time back in November. And then one apiece.
You know, draws in Test netball. If this is all square, we will see extra time. 7 minutes each way.
And hopefully South Africa have learnt their lesson with that as well, and they know it's coming.
Yeah, the first test against England. Well, you can run over history, you can talk about what happened in Cape Town, but ultimately it's about what happens on the court tonight for England. Determined to make that finals weekend at the Copper Box.
And that was a big move from Haythornthwaite. She knows it as well. She got involved with the crowd there, asked them to lift again. All stem from South Africa not wanting to push that ball forward, looking square.
This for the 50 up for England. Calm as you like from Cardwell.
That for me is the turning point of this quarter.
Plenty of time for South Africa to come back at them. They will.
I'm really impressed with how Shawain has come on. Fed Pothita, got the depth in that attack end, given them some control.
Haythornthwaite, England captain, the bounce into the newest member of the Roses squad, Carter. Haythornthwaite had a think.
Yeah, and it was very well weighted. Great discipline from Carter. You could see it there. She held on for the ball while Mawene was jumping around. And then a very quick penalty in. Shimon now with the timeout.
Well, we wondered if changes would come. Stacey Francis has taken off the goalkeeper bib. She's going to goal defence. And Razia Kwashi coming on in that goalkeeper position. What does she give England in that circle?
I rate Razia Kwashi. I think naturally she'll become the next goalkeeper. I think Stacey Francis has done a great job and will be in that defensive unit. But I think moving forward, after the era of Juga Mentor, someone like Raz Kwashi will take the reins, and that's why you saw her stepping up there. It's her recovery. She's not the tallest, but she can step onto things, play back into it. Her footwork and her elevation are incredible.
And when you're on 60 minutes of netball, you don't want that kind of prospect coming on court and just messing things up in that circle. Different prospect now for South Africa to face. Up the other end, Pittman, patient. Back to Malcolm.
Instruction centre outside.
It's getting to that twitchy phase for South Africa now to win one of these.
Well, it is as this clock ticks down. And England keep putting on the scoreboard. It becomes less and less likely that they'll get that turnover. I thought that Haythornthwaite intercept was the turning point. It just felt England suddenly settled again, believed in what they were doing.
Can't take goal defence.
And looked really smart by Haythornthwaite drawing the penalty. I'm not sure she wanted to end up on the floor, but she definitely drew it out. She's at least taken Carla on.
Carla Pretorius, Sunshine Coast Lightning, one of those we've seen Team Bath previously in the Super League, vice-captain of this South Africa team. She's tried to get them through.
She thought she'd got another there.
Contact.
They're not afraid to have a challenge, these two. And look straight on that from Koshi.
Goalkeeper contact.
Not intimidated at all, is she?
No. And so she shouldn't. She's, you know, she's earned that red dress for a reason. I often say the defenders come on a lot more fearless than the attackers. They're quite happy to get stuck in. Actually, some of the worst players to play against are new young defenders coming through.
Centre obstruction. Goal third, goal third. England.
Oh, beautiful ball by Chelsea Pittman. Cardwell X in the circle and open it up for Haythornthwaite, who hits the deck again. Such an important captain's performance from her this evening. I know how gutted she was after the Kiwi game.
There's been a few standout players for England. Haythornthwaite definitely one of them, Amy Carter as well.
100%.
And Stacey Francis, who consistently has performed.
I think for me, Francis has got the ball when England needed it. When at times England were under the pump, Francis came up with the big moves. I think Haythornthwaite had an outstanding game again. But you know, we've come to expect that from her now as well. She leads that team so well.
So many options for player of the match. And England know, or at least the arena knows now, that this one is pretty much done for the Roses. They'll face Jamaica in that match at the weekend. Still going through it though, South Africa.
Yeah, they just don't consistently put it together, you know. They had it under control in that first quarter. They let England back into the game. They just don't know how to keep pushing on. They have to go away and look at that. I think it's really interesting across the week. I look at someone like Jamaica and go, well, tactically they've got some stuff to work on. I actually think for South Africa, this part of the game is tougher. It's the mental side. It's that complete composure. It's the individuals taking responsibility.
Goalkeeper with your arm in the back of it.
But it's almost a process to go through. England had to beat Australia to feel like they could beat them, didn't they? Which sounds daft, but it's about making that turning point, that point at which you believe you can beat them.
Totally. And then it's not just doing it in random tests, it's doing it in the big competitions when it really does matter. South Africa have definitely got the players to do it.
Notes to take for Jess Thirlby. We'll hear her reaction after this one.
There she is again.
Contact, goal attack.
Oh, and she comes out with the ball, smile on her face.
Francis then once again has seen her side push forward, leading from the back, pushing them on, and then into that circle. Cardwell just ticked things over. I mean, that's more than ticking it over, the confidence that she's shown. Last minute here in Birmingham then, onto the copper box we go, and it looks like England will be going with that win in their back pocket. 6 goals the difference, beyond South Africa now. Quashi, and she's come on, giving them something different to think about in that circle too.
Sure she has, and down the other end, Cardwell looking so comfortable in that shooting position. I think she did a good enough job for England, and what they were able to do is bring on the pace. South Africa haven't been able to do that. They almost flipped it the other way around. Started with Radaman, Moved out hot heater and went back to her.
I'm not kidding.
I like
Stay
what
on the
Thirlby's
side.
done tonight.
It's a caution for the team.
Caution picked up by Chelsea Pittman.
Contact, goal attack. Shooter.
And that was all about the footwork call. And then a little bit back in there, Stacey Francis again. Right to the very edge of this game, to the last seconds. Francis has pushed the Roses forward. They're going to come away with a win. It's about grit and about effort, about the work rate of Jess Thirlby's side. They have the win. She was looking to the West Midlands for a bit of a welcome, and she's had it. They're still in the Nations Cup. They'll face a winner-takes-all game against Jamaica on Saturday. You can tell what it means, though, to England after that disappointment of that defeat to New Zealand, picking themselves up, finding a new seven, finding new combinations, testing them on court against a South Africa team, Tamsin Greenway, who had pushed them.
Yeah, indeed, and we've come to expect that now from these two sides, but real composure shown from England. I preferred the changes tonight. I like the starting lineup. I like what Thirlby was trying to get out of the side, and so many players got to grow in that game. So impressive from George Fisher in the first quarter. Ellie Cardwell moving very well to goal shooter, and of course Amy Carter. So impressive. Really pleased she got some quality time out there and showed just what she can do.
Smiles all round then for the Roses team. Clearly, understandably, disappointment for South Africa. Grete Badenhorst said her team came into the tournament believing they could win it. They can't make the finals now, but they've shown that courage on court. Just needs to show that belief that they can take teams to the end and beat them. Amy Carter, what a few days for her. Incredible.
Yeah, indeed, and this is going to be just the beginning for her. This competition was so important to get some of those new faces in there. You can see what it means to Hayescott's way as well, and the relief off the players, because you know that was still a tight game, even though they didn't look, other than that first sort of quarter, they dragged it back. They didn't look under pressure in that second half. I think they were really impressive. They'll be pleased with that, knowing they're going to Jamaica facing a very different contest at the weekend.
A prayer and a thought for South Africa. Then England have other options that they can turn to before heading on to Jamaica. And we know that they'll probably need them, such is the physical encounter that you meet when you meet Jamaica.
Yeah, of course, it'll be a very different game, and that's the beauty of this week, how you switch from style to style. Thirlby will have to look at our combinations again and see who matches up best. You know, you start Cardwell out at goal attack and then move Haythornthwaite into there, or do you even look at a bit outside and say bring in Sophie Drakeford-Lewis or another option? But they've got options, and that's what's good, and they exposed those options tonight.
We can see Sophie Drakeford-Lewis in the shot. They're part of the 14. Jess Thirlby selects her 12 for game day. Will she make it come the weekend? Options, questions to come. For now, about reflecting on tonight. Gail.
Thanks very much, Caroline. When it was so difficult to come up with one player of the match, we did eventually get there, but you two were the front runners. First of all, you got the nods, and you were pretty pleased about that, weren't you?
I was pretty pleased, yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Both of you just came over and there was a huge exhale breath. You were pretty relieved. That was such a tough test match, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We never take South Africa for granted. We know that they'd be out for blood after beating them on home soil, but what we really wanted to do today was not only get the win, but show an improved performance, and at times I think we did that.
When I told Stacey she was player of the match, you know what she said? I'd have probably given it to Nat. So Nat, at half-time we spoke, didn't we? I mean, it looked an entirely different team in that second half. What did you say? And it helped, didn't you, the changes that were made?
Yeah, I think the girls that came on had great impact, and Jess was just talking about getting some fight in us. We're here, we're playing in front of our home country, we wanted some fight, and I think that's what we showed in the second half.
And her captaincy today, because there were moments in that game, weren't there, where confidence wavered, there were doubts. What was she saying to you?
Nat just leads by example. She's definitely a vocal person, but there was just a moment in the game at the end where she took that flying interception and then just decided to feed it straight into the circle. And I think that just epitomises the kind of leader she is. Not only does she lead the attack, but she's on the forefront of our transition in defence as well.
Yeah, you grew some wings there. How on earth did you get to that? What was it, about 7 minutes to go? And it did look shaky at that point, didn't it?
Yeah, just the coaches getting on my back. I've wanted to improve on my defence, so thanks to Sonia for shouting at me, Jess, Kat, all of them just getting on my back, and I'm wanting to do it for my team.
Well played, both you. Shootout now. against Jamaica. How about it?
I'm up for it. I'm used to Janelle. Her height is no surprise, and Jamaica are a rangy team and will definitely be disappointed after today's result.
Well, many congratulations. You are the official player of the match. Well played, Stacey. Well played, Nats. Thanks very much. We will see you again on Saturday. Well played. Direct, come and speak to us. My goodness, has the heart rate dropped after that? South Africa and England, they know how to play some tight test matches, don't they?
Yeah, well done to England. A brilliant game, and I think it's good for netball in the world.
In terms of what your team did, though, you must have been so proud of the way that they stepped up a level. They looked like there was a real hunger there, wasn't there, that maybe we didn't see last weekend?
Yeah, we really worked hard, and they really tried hard, and I think there's really a brilliant play, but we still make too many mistakes, and we just need to try to keep more possession. And on defence we struggled a little bit, but we will go back and we will just work hard. I'm still proud of them. They never give up, this team, and we will take every opportunity to learn and just come back better.
One more crack at it, of course, on the weekend. Well played today. We look forward to seeing you on the weekend. Jess Thirlby, I just spoke to two of your stars there. It was so hard to pick a player of the match. In the end, it was Stacey for us, but you must have been pretty proud of your captain this evening, how she steered you, and at moments got a bit sticky there, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, again, we had good patches. Even in the first half, I kind of felt, here we go again. We should have gone in at half-time, I think, with the upper hand, and we just didn't quite take those moments again. We tried a different lineup, and to be fair to George and Elle, they've never started an international match that way round. They've very rarely played together, so it was likely it was going to run its course, and I felt we lost our way a little bit just before half-time. But the impact from those that came off the bench, all of them, I couldn't be more pleased. Amy Carter, I was always confident to enter her sooner. She did a really good job in only her second match for us in such a tight fixture. I was really pleased with the changes, and I felt at half-time there was a real response to play smarter, not just harder. We got more turnover in that third quarter. The other night was our undoing, but tonight it definitely was the one that really got us over the line.
Nat said you just had to give them all a little gentle reminder about where they were, what they were doing, and you came out, didn't you, with much more hunger and determination in that second half. What exactly did you say to them?
Well, I know the capacity of this group right now. We talk about the long-term plan, but I know that they're better than that first half performance. And I just wanted them to kind of show everyone else that, really. I was really pleased with the impact that Chelsea had on the wing attack role, and I thought she just brought confidence and let the ball go to Elle. We went back to having that anchor in the circle. But again, I've learnt lots again. So it's going to be a tough one against Jamaica, but really looking forward that we put ourselves in that position for Saturday.
Yeah, just finally, what a match that's going to be. Winner takes all. England-Jamaica matches are feisty enough without a final at stake.
Yeah, absolutely. I said coming into the tournament that ideally we want to get into these finals. We have every opportunity to do so. It's going to be tough with that height in the back, but South Africa pushed them the other day, and everyone was a bit critical of us against New Zealand, but you saw the margin between New Zealand and Jamaica today, so I think it's game on. We know what we need to do. We know we're going to have to win ball and pressure it early, and we've got to be much more clinical in possession of the ball. We've just got to keep minimising those errors, but super proud of today. There was a lot of heart. We needed a bit more head in the second half, and I think we gave that.
Very well played today. We look forward to seeing you again on Saturday. Thanks, Jess.
Lessons learned then for Jess Thirlby and the England Roses. This was tight, but that was expected, right? The last 4 tests between England and South Africa have now been decided by 6 goals or less. This time round, it's advantage England. Full reaction to come.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Victory for England, 58-54 over South Africa. A little cuddle, I would say, from Cardwell and Francis, who performed so well on the court tonight. A loss at the weekend against New Zealand, but victory today, and they're playing Jamaica on Saturday, hoping to make that final at the Copper Box on Sunday. I'm here with Tamsin and Ebony. Tamsin, let's talk about the centre position, the impact players that came off the bench, and how clever Jess Thirlby was this evening.
I thought
really
it was brilliant.
clever.
I thought the changes were great. I thought her starting combination was exciting. I think whatever she said to them at half-time was great. Her tactics were excellent. So, yeah, and I'm really, really impressed with Amy Carter. I'm so glad she got time there. It's hard as a centre. You can't just whack on for one quarter and think that's going to be okay. To actually grow through the game as she did when they brought her on in the second, to be brave to do that. You know, she's completely fearless. She's actually quite a tall centre as well. She gets her arms into everything. She was happy to feed. She threw in hard ball, she had touch on pass, and she also got stuck in defensively. She had a lot of help with Malcolm and Jay Clark when they were both out there. They were talking to her a lot, sign of how you use the team effectively.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. When a player comes on, we want to see them on for some time rather than being taken off. As a player, when you're playing, you don't want to be taken off the court when you just come on.
No, I think you have that fun and excitement, and you come on, you're a bundle of energy. And what's great to see here is that Amy Carter came on, but in amongst experience. So in terms of you're doing okay, keep going. I think that level of encouragement, again, allowed her to grow into this performance today. And I remember as a young player coming on, and you used to say to me, don't worry, it'll be fine, just breathe.
Yeah. And you need that support around you, don't you?
You do. And she delivered today in all aspects, in terms of her defensive game and in terms of how she fed the circle in attack. So, yeah, great to see her out there for 3 quarters, and yeah, hopefully see her more again on Saturday.
And speaking of defence, player of the match, Stacey Francis. I mean, it was a tough one. It could have gone to quite a few players, couldn't it? Nat Haythornthwaite being one of them. But Stacey Francis, what did you see from her today? How did she perform?
I have a special place in my heart for Stacey Francis, but today she really was a rock at the back for us. She came up with key interceptions when we needed them. There was a lot of momentum shifts in the game, and again here, elevation, and she was dependable. And what we need in this England team as we're developing as the younger ones are coming through, is leadership. And she really led from the back. She led by example, and everyone else was able to feed off that and create the turnover the team
I had
needed.
no worries when they came out after half-time with how the defensive end started, and that was down to Stacey Francis as well, how the intensity her and Shimron brought into that circle. They got a few turnovers, and that for me was game over. I know the score stayed close, always does against these teams, but I wasn't worried at all, and she was a key in that.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see Razia Kwashi come on in that goalkeeper position. I know you're saying that she's one for the future, Tamsin, but also to see Stacey go goal defence and have that flexibility to be able to fit it, slot into different positions, Ebony.
Yeah, Raz came on, and I'd love to see a little bit more of Raz. She keeps having like these mini debuts. But when she did come on, she's finding her feet slowly. She got her hand to, I think she got an intercept in the first 30 seconds that she was on the court. So, yeah, something we want definitely to watch in the future. She just excites me as well when I'm watching her, but hopefully I'd like to see a little bit more of her.
Yeah, just a quick word on Ellie Cardwell.
Yeah, I thought she was brilliant. I thought, she did get found out at times at goal attack, but slotted back into that goal shooter position, did her job tonight, and is showing she can make it internationally.
Nat Haythornthwaite, goal attack, the right position, the right place.
Today it was, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Is she the answer for the England Roses?
She gives another option.
Yeah, she does. She does. And when Chelsea came on, she was steady, she was consistent. And you can see that combination, that relationship between the two of them. So, yeah, good to see Nat out there as well.
Yeah, great stuff. OK, well, the Super League is just around the corner. Ebony, you're in training, and it's the 22nd of February at 10:30 a.m. We're back on Saturday. New Zealand, South Africa, and England, Jamaica. We're on main event at 4:45. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Good evening.
sports. Feel it all. This programme is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance and Investments.
Handball, penalty. She's doing it again. Am I the only one that knows the rules?